Greetings and welcome everyone to Consciousness Rising. This is the first episode in what I hope to be an ongoing series where I will discuss many issues that affect us as a collective and as individuals, in the hope that some may benefit from some of my content and rise in consciousness indeed. Life is a journey, and in my path I've learnt lots and lots, and I've now got to that point in my life now where all my knowledge and findings over the years, my research, my personal experiences, I've come to the point of which I'd like to try and share some of that. So my knowledge is now becoming wisdom, because wisdom is action. I'm taking action because if anyone, even one person, can benefit from this work, then my life has been worthwhile. My path has been worthwhile. I love to share knowledge. I love to gain knowledge indeed. But there's nothing better than sharing it. The more people that benefit from this, the better. Some of you may not be in line with my teachings or my philosophies, whatever, call them what you will. Doesn't really matter. Some of you may benefit greatly. My hope is to empower. What I'm all about is empowering others, just as I've been empowered by other people, and indeed myself. So this will be an ongoing series. It will start light. It's going to be a progressive series, each week probably getting deeper and deeper down the rabbit hole as I discuss deeper topics. But this first episode is mainly talking about what is consciousness. What are we? Because that is what we are. We are much more than what we see. We are more than the physical. We are pure consciousness. Now, that being said, I don't know how often I'm going to be uploading videos and making content, because these slides take a while to put together. I've spent quite a while preparing, getting to know the software and getting to know how to do this. So, I can't promise to publish every week, but I'll certainly be publishing quite a bit. I've got loads of content planned, and I've got at least another 2 to 3 episodes fully ready to go. But we'll just see where it takes us, and this will be, like I say, a progressive journey. I'm going to start very basic and then get deeper and deeper as we go along. Okay, so that being said, let's move on to the first slide. A problem cannot be solved from the same level of consciousness that created it. Great quote by Albert Einstein. And the reason the Earth and the planet is in such a dark place is because of the level of consciousness for the mass public is in. If you have a problem in life, you can't solve it from the same way of thinking. You have to grow. You have to explore. You have to rise in consciousness, and it all starts with self. And you'll see as I go forward into this presentation that I'll be talking about self a lot, because everything starts with the self, and actually that's a good point to move to my next slide, because this is such a great quote and I love this so much. Heed these words, you who wish to probe the depths of nature. If you do not find within yourself that which you seek, neither will you find it outside. If you ignore the wonders of your own house, how do you expect to find other wonders? In you is hidden the treasure of treasures. Know thyself, and you will know the universe and the gods. Such a powerful, great quote. I love that. It says everything to me. That speaks on so many levels. And, you'll see a lot of my work going forward, especially in the early couple of episodes, I'll be talking about self. What is a self? Because it's from the self that we grow, and if each individual soul does that, then as a collective we will move together. But it starts with the self. There are a lot of problems on this planet right now, but we have to start with our own house, as it says there. Every answer to every riddle that we face in this life, I truly believe and have come to know, lies within the self. I got taught this many years ago, always looking outside myself for answers when, I come to the realization and the knowledge of knowing that I have all the answers I'll ever need. We have to grow, and that is scary for a lot of people, but it's worth every little bit of effort. Yesterday I was clever, so I wanted to change the world. Today I am wise, so I am changing myself. Another fantastic quote, and that's why I've put these quotes in here, to hopefully make you think, and to convey such a deep message that it does start with selfhood. If we can master the self, we can change the world, but it starts with the self. As it says there, I wanted to change the world, but now I'm wise, so I'm changing myself. So what is consciousness? This is a bit of information I stumbled across a while ago, and I really like this. This really resonates with me, and that's important actually. The fact that I accidentally said with you, you should be discerning, and as you're listening to me or any other researcher for that fact, listen to yourself, see what resonates. Because usually what resonates is right for you. I've come to be very discerning over the years, and there's many researchers who I admire. I don't always like everything they say, but I'm discerning about it. The parts that resonate with me are the parts that I take. But don't throw out one researcher's whole body of work if you find one part that you don't like. That is very, very ignorant. But yeah, this quote: the ability to recognise patterns and meanings in regard to events taking place both within the self and the realm in which the self exists and operates. Again, you'll see that duality of self, internal and external there. So if we start, the higher our consciousness is and the more we learn, the more we grow every day, we will recognise patterns and meanings in the self, what's going on in our own self, and then we will start to convey and notice patterns that exist in nature and everything that's around us. There are patterns everywhere. The universe is constantly speaking to us. We just need to rise in consciousness to meet that. Truth is truth. It just is what it is. It's our perceptions and awareness that must change in order to meet it and know it. Neuroscience is a fascinating subject. I'm currently reading quite a deep book on neuroscience. I would not claim that I'm a master of neuroscience. I know the basic elements. This is a very, very basic slide that shows the 3 parts of our brain and how they work. Okay, so down the bottom there you've got the brain stem, sometimes called the reptile brain. You might have heard that. It's all to do with survival, how we survive in the wild. When we were in the wild, we needed that massively. Our middle brain, as we look on the right there, the mammal brain, or sometimes called the mammalian brain, the limbic brain, it's what controls our emotional state. And then at the top there, this is the part that sets us apart from other species, okay? The neocortex. We as humans, we are able to access higher order thinking in a way that other species do not. Not saying that we're better, because I believe that everything in life has value, but that's what sets us apart from other species. The fact that we can think in a higher dimension, if you like, higher order thinking, the neocortex. Another way of looking at these 3 parts, if you like, and you'll hear people say, body, mind, spirit. Well, this is what it relates to, the mind, the thoughts that we have are the mind. They're the base of the pyramid. To the right, you've got the spirit, the spiritual element, which is our emotional state, and then on the left, you've got the body, which is our actions. Okay, that's the process we go through. We have thoughts, we have emotions, and then we take action on those thoughts and emotions, whether they're good or bad. We'll talk about that later as I go into natural law on one of my episodes. But that's, again, a great way of looking at the three components there. The mind being thoughts, the spirit being the emotions, the body being actions. And you know, everything starts in mind. Yes, we live in a physical universe, but everything starts as a thought. And what that means is, for instance, I like the scenario of the guy that made the wheel. You know, he didn't just go, right, there's some wood, and chuck it all together, there's a wheel. He had a thought. He had a thought process. You know, he discovered it in his mind. And some of the greatest scientists, you know, they discover things in their mind, and then they go through this process, and then they give birth to it through their actions. Brain duality. That's another great way of looking at consciousness, you know. And, you know, I do hear people slag this model off sometimes and say, you know, there's no weight to it. But it's a way of looking at our consciousness, who we are. It's got nothing to do with male and female in a sense of women are this way, men are that way. It's nothing to do with that. We all carry both components of this. Okay, so you've got the left brain, which is our logical brain. It's where we analyse. It's organisation, administration, maths and science, knowledge, facts, and sees the detail in things, okay? You can be too left-brained, and indeed you can be too right-brained, which I'll come on to in a minute, actually. And then you've got the right brain. It's our emotional side, our intuitive side, our spirituality, interpersonal skills, art and music, belief. It sees things in the big picture, whereas the left brain sees the details, the right brain sees things in a big picture as a whole. Okay, you can be too left-brained and you can be too right-brained, and I think it's my next slide that goes into that a bit more. No, the one after this, but never mind. Another way of looking at that model before is in the ancient yin-yang. You know, you've got the yang. It's the solar, the masculine, the active, analytical, dominant left brain, and it's our aggression. Okay, that's one side. Then you've got that duality again. You've got the yin. You've got that thing that balances the brain. The lunar, the feminine, the passive, intuitive, submissive, right brain and compassion. You'll see in my work a lot as we go ahead, you know, you'll see a lot of symbology and how things correlate. You know, the brain, the right and left brain, completely correlates brilliantly with the yin yang. You know, such fantastic symbology. I love this slide. I'm so glad I found this. So looking at the left and right brains again there, what you've got on the left there, if you look at the triangle or the pyramid if you like, pointing upwards, masculine energy, okay, solar, the sun is there. Sometimes that triangle is called the blade. It's phallic, it's masculine, it's pointing upwards, okay. On the right hand side you've got the feminine, and it's pointing down, much like a feminine womb. Lunar. Now, as I said before, the left, you can be too left-brained and you can be too right-brained, but as in life, as in general, what we should strive for always is balance, and that is portrayed beautifully here, because as the left and right meet, as those triangles meet, we get that star in the middle, and that's what we should be striving for. We should be striving for balance. And I've heard people, you know, if you're too right-brained, you can be very, very spiritual, or you can be religious, or whatever, and you can meditate a lot. And I'm not saying meditation's bad. In fact, meditation is a very, very powerful tool, and I'm hoping to put out some meditations on my channel eventually. But we need more than that. We need to be grounded in the left brain as well. You know, Mark Passio is one of my inspirations, if you like. I'm so inspired by him. But he talks about boots on the ground spirituality. You know, head in heaven, feet planted on the ground. Because we've got work to do. We can't forget the physical. The physical and the spiritual realms are equally as important as each other. And as I say in this slide, what reason I love this slide so much is because it shows that duality, and how when we bring it together, we get the star, the shining star. And this is actually my last slide for today. As I said, this video would just be a taster really of what's to come. And this is critical information. You know, I've come to understand this on a really deep level in the last 2 to 3 years, really. One of the people that I have to give a shout out to that's helped me in understanding this concept is Dr. Bruce Lipton, and I highly recommend that people check out his work, particularly read his book, The Biology of Belief. That's an absolute mind-blowing book. It will change your life as it did mine. Now, what you've got here is the conscious and the subconscious. Okay, so what's basically happening, and as I've come to understand in life, we've got these two factors to our mind working all the time. And the reason I love the iceberg model of this so much is because you've got the conscious mind, which is above the water. It's the part that's seen, and it's quite small in comparison to what lies underneath and is hidden, the subconscious mind. And as I go on to speak on this topic, which I will do in episode 2, because I've got episode 2 completely prepped and ready to go, I just need to find the time to sit down and record. The subconscious is massively more powerful than the conscious mind. But when we get an understanding of how these two minds work, and how actually our subconscious programming, which I'll talk more on next time, is holding us back, we can see why we are the way we are and why we do the things we do, and it will give us a greater understanding of life. It has with me, certainly, and I'm not saying I'm perfect at all. I've got many a thing to work on. In the last 2 years, couple of years, I have been working on the subconscious programming that I've got, but we've all got it. We've all been programmed, and as I say, I'll go into that in much more greater depth next episode, because I'm going to expand on this concept. And that's it really for the first episode. I hope you did enjoy it. I hope some of you, if not all of you, got some benefit from it. And that's it for now. And hopefully, if you did get any benefit from it, you'll look forward to whatever I put out next. I've got some great stuff lined up, hopefully. The next episode, I'll be expanding on the conscious and the subconscious mind massively. And eventually, I'll be putting videos out of some of the healing modalities that we can use, or at least one of them, that's very powerful, in order to rewrite our subconscious programming. But, this is just a taster. I won't go all into that now. See you next time, hopefully, guys. Take care. Bye.